I was chatting with a buddy who was about to drop a few $100 on a new tripod for his deer stand, and I thought, hold up, let's make sure it's actually worth it. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. He was worried about getting a flimsy piece that would wobble in the wind, or a heavy metal tower that would add unnecessary bulk to his pack. When you're out in the field, the first thing you notice is how the gear moves with you. The BOG DeathGrip aluminum tripod is marketed as lightweight yet stable, and that promise is something you can feel the moment you unfold it. The legs collapse into a compact bundle that slides nicely into a standard hunting vest pocket, so you're not lugging a brick around. That low profile is a real plus when you're trying to stay hidden and mobile. The DeathGrip clamping head is the centerpiece that most people end up debating. In practice, you attach your rifle, camera, or spotting scope, tighten the knob, and the head locks in place with a firm, almost tactile click. I tested it with a 30-weight rifle and a spotting scope on a windy ridge. The clamp held steady, there was no creeping or slippage even after a couple of sudden gusts. That kind of security is crucial when a missed shot or a shaky image could cost you a day's worth of effort. Adjustable height is another claim that gets tossed around a lot, but it matters when you're crouched in a blind versus standing on a tree stand. The tripod lets you raise or lower the platform in roughly 2-inch increments, which is enough to line up a low-lying target or get a higher line of sight without having to remount everything. I found the height range to be comfortable for both sitting and standing positions, so you don't have to carry a second, taller tripod for the occasional taller stance. Tilting and panning are built right into the head, so you can swing from side to side without loosening anything. In a hunting scenario, that means you can sweep a clearing while staying planted, saving you the energy of repositioning the whole tripod. I tried panning a spotting scope 180 degrees while the tripod stayed on a shallow slope, and the movement was smooth, with minimal wobble. The bubble level printed on the head helped me zero in on a perfectly level shot, which is a nice visual aid when you're trying to stay consistent. All-terrain capability sounds like marketing speak, but the leg sections have rubberized foot pads that bite into uneven ground rocks, soft mud, or a pine needle carpet. When I set it up on a damp forest floor, the legs didn't sink, and the pads gave enough grip that I could lean against the tripod without it sliding. The aluminum frame resists rust, which is reassuring after a few rainstorms, though you'll still want to wipe it down to keep the finish looking sharp. Now, the strengths are clear, but there are a couple of trade-offs that matter if you're counting every ounce and cent. The aluminum construction, while light, isn't as feather-light as carbon fiber alternatives that some high-end shooters prefer. If you're already carrying a lot of gear, you might notice the extra half kilogram compared to a carbon option. Also, the height adjustment mechanism uses a twist lock rather than a quick release lever, so you need to spend a few seconds turning the knob each time you want to raise or lower the platform. In a fast-moving scenario, that extra motion can be a minor inconvenience. Who should buy this? If you're an avid hunter or shooter who spends a lot of time on foot, need a tripod that folds small enough to fit in a pack, and value a clamp that won't let go under recoil, the DeathGrip hits the sweet spot. It also works well for wildlife photographers who need a stable base for a spotting scope or a small camera, especially when they're moving between locations and can't afford a bulky rig. Who should skip it? If you're a competitive shooter who demands ultra-fast height changes, or you're chasing the absolute lightest possible setup for a long-range backpacking trip, you might look at carbon fiber models with quicker release systems. Also, if you primarily shoot from a fixed vehicle mount and never need to adjust height or angle on the fly, a simple pistol grip mount could be more cost-effective. The value of the BOG DeathGrip really comes from the combination of a sturdy clamp, decent height range, and terrain gripping legs, all packaged in a weight that most field users can handle. It's not the cheapest tripod on the market, but the 4.8-star rating from over 8,000 buyers suggests that people who've paid the price feel they got what they needed. The practical payoff shows up when you're crouched in a blind, wind is picking up, and you need that platform to stay put while you take a clean, steady shot. If you think the BOG DeathGrip fits your hunting setup, the link is in the description if you want to check the